Women's Rights by Franny and Alexandra.
The first Women's Rights Convention, held on July 19th to 20th, 1848, marked the beginning of the organized women's rights movement in the United States. Led by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott, the convention produced the Declaration of Sentiments, a groundbreaking document that outlined grievances and demands for women's equality in social, political, and economic spheres, including the right to vote. Attended by around 300 men and women, this historic event not only brought attention to the legal and societal inequalities faced by women, but also sparked the broader women's suffrage movement. The ratification of the 19th Amendment, officially certified on August 26, 1920, granted women the constitutional right to vote, marking a historic victory after over 70 years of relentless activism. Suffragists such as Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Alice Paul, and Carrie Chapman Catt, alongside organizations like the National American Women's Suffrage Association and the National Women's Party, played pivotal roles in this fight. Despite facing significant resistance from political leaders and the conservative organizations, their efforts prevailed, making the 19th Amendment a powerful symbol of progress for gender equality in the United States. The Equal Pay Act, signed into law by President John F. Kennedy on June 10, 1963, aimed to eliminate wage disparity between men and women performing the same job. It required employers to pay equal wages for equal work, focused on factors such as skill, effort, responsibility, and working conditions rather than sex. By amending the Fair Labor Standards Act, it directly addressed wage discrimination. However, the law was limited in scope, as it did not tackle broader systemic issues like occupational segregation or the undervaluing of female-dominated professions. The National Organization for Women was established on June 30, 1966, during the Third National Conference of Commissions on the Status of Women in Washington, D.C., founded by leaders like Betty Friedan, Pauli Murray, and Shirley Chisholm. NOW was created to advocate for women's full participation in American society. The organization declared that it was time to confront systemic discrimination against women and focus on issues such as equal employment, opportunities and pay, combating gender discrimination in education and the workplace, and advocating for reproductive rights, including access to abortion. Roe v. Wade was a landmark Supreme Court decision decided on January 22, 1973, in a 7-2 vote that established a constitutional right to privacy under the 14th Amendment, protecting a woman's right to choose to have an abortion. The case began when the plaintiff, Jane Roe, challenged Texas state laws banning abortion, with the defendant being Harry Wade, the Dallas County District Attorney who enforced those laws. The court ruled that the state laws banning abortion were unconstitutional and outlined specific guidelines. During the first trimester, women had the right to abortion without state interference. In the second trimester, states could regulate abortion for health-related reasons, and in the third trimester, states could restrict or ban abortion except when necessary to protect the woman's health or life. The decision not only empowered women to make decisions about their own bodies and healthcare, but also significantly expanded rights and access to abortion.
The Violence Against Women Act was a groundbreaking piece of legislation signed into law by President Bill Clinton on September 13, 1994. This law was created to address and reduce domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment against women, which were widespread yet often overlooked issues at the time. VAWA introduced several significant changes. It increased penalties for crimes such as domestic violence, ensuring that offenders faced more serious consequences for their actions. It also provided funding for critical victim services such as shelters, counseling, and legal assistance, offering much-needed support for survivors. Additionally, VAWA established a dedicated office within the Department of Justice to focus specifically on issues of violence against women, demonstrating a federal commitment to addressing these crimes. The passing of VAWA was a turning point in raising national awareness about domestic violence and sexual assault. It not only improved resources and protections for those impacted, but also sparked a shift in how society views and responds to violence against women. By bringing these issues into the spotlight, VAWA laid the foundation for ongoing efforts to prevent violence, supporting survivors, and holding perpetrators accountable. The Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, signed into law on January 29, 2009, was a landmark step in the fight for workplace equality. Its purpose was to ensure that women performing the same work as men received equal pay. Before this act, women often struggled to challenge pay discrimination because they only had a limited window to file a claim, starting from when the unequal pay began, which could go unnoticed for years. The new law changed this by allowing claims to be filed within 180 days of the most recent discriminatory paycheck, giving workers a fair chance to seek justice. As the first major piece of legislation to directly address gender-based wage inequality, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act empowered women with stronger rights to challenge unfair, gender-biased pay practices. It was a critical step toward closing the pay gap and ensuring fairness in the workplace for all. The hashtag #MeToo movement brought global attention to the widespread presence of sexual assault and harassment against women. Although the phrase was originally coined in 2006 by activist Tarana Burke, it became a viral movement in 2017 when actress Alyssa Milano encouraged its use on social media. This came after the allegations of sexual misconduct against powerful and well-known figures were made public, sparking a worldwide conversation. The hashtag #MeToo movement transformed attitudes towards sexual harassment, breaking the silence from millions of women and pushing for accountability. Its impact has been felt everywhere, from the workplace to the media, creating lasting changes in how we recognize, address, and fight against harassment and abuse. The Women's March of 2017 was the largest single-day protest in U.S. history, held on January 21, 2017, the day after President Donald Trump's inauguration. The march focused on the women's rights and voiced opposition to the policies that many felt threatened equality and justice. This historic event sparked a resurgence in women's activism, inspiring millions to take action and laying the groundwork for future social justice movements. The Women's March also played a key role in increasing female political participation, which was especially evident during the 2018 midterm elections, where a record number of women ran for office and voted. By uniting voices across the country and the world, the Women's March became a powerful symbol of solidarity, equality, and change. The Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization case was a landmark Supreme Court decision announced on June 24, 2022. The case challenged the constitutionality of a Mississippi law that banned most abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. In its ruling, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, declaring that the Constitution does not grant a right to abortion. This decision ended a federal protection for abortion rights, giving individual states the authority to regulate or ban abortion as they see fit. As a result, some states chose to ban abortion entirely, while others kept it legal, creating a patchwork of laws across the country. The Dobbs decision marked a significant shift in the U.S. reproductive rights, sparking intense debate and reshaping the legal landscape surrounding abortion.
Thank you.